We loved that chalet because we truly got the entire experience. We skied, then we skied to the property, then we enjoyed the jacuzzi, we had a private butler, we had a chef, we were treated like
Kings.
Hi, I'm Dominic.
And I'm Patrick.
And we are the Maro Brothers. We are here today with Estate Media to tell you our stories behind the listings. We will start with Villa Alang in Cannes, France, and I have to say it was one of the most impressive properties we have ever been to. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly. Because when you reach the property, it is kind of hidden. You don't immediately see the whole property itself. So once entering it...
It was hidden, but it was massive at the same time. It was probably one of the biggest properties, if not the biggest one we've ever shot. And by far the most expensive one.
Yes, and the views, spectacular.
Yeah, like you say, right? Location.
Like always, looking down, seeing the whole harbor of Cannes.
With all its square meters, had every inch and nook filled with goodies for anyone to enjoy. And one big surprise was the basement, in which we saw a gym, but not only a gym, right, Patrick?
There was also a boxing ring in there.
First of its kind. We've actually never seen a boxing ring in a house, which was pretty extraordinary. And, you know, fun little story. Patrick and I did a little bit sparring. And what happened?
I won.
He knocked me out cold.
No, but the house is really impressive. And the moment you come in, you feel the energy of that property.
100%. You feel the energy. It's got history. And it's actually one of the most known properties there in Cannes. It bears history. It bears a reputation. And if you're somewhere in a nice restaurant in Cannes, and you do say to someone that you are currently in Villa Alang,
that has
they
weight.
know who you are, and exactly. But one thing that surely pops out was that dinosaur skeleton. And if you maybe take the wrong entry into the house, which you can do through various entry points instead of the main gallery entry, you might miss it. But that dinosaur skeleton head was seriously impressive.
That house is not a house which is really hiding anything from you. It is just really shouts out to you. You know, it's just right in your face. And I love it. It's a great house when it comes to just getting mesmerized by everything at once.
Every corner had like a little wow factor in it.
Maybe the fireplace at the end.
Yeah, in the garden area.
If you do not walk all the way to the end of the garden, you may miss the fireplace where you also have the little beach area happening. Which
is pretty cool because not only do you have a fireplace there, you also have those views you mentioned before. Yeah. So at night you will have the fire sparkling and then the lights too of the city.
Yeah, it's a good place to just go away and just, you know, calm down.
Yeah. So the next property we're going to talk about is a spectacular home situated in one of the nicest bays right in front of the sea in the southern part of Spain, created and designed by the star architect Frank Sylvester. And it's always been a dream of mine to showcase one of his architectural masterpieces. And we have to be honest here, it was a beautiful experience, wasn't it?
Yes, it was absolutely mesmerizing because we also got the opportunity to spend a whole day there.
Yeah.
And here I have to emphasize again, location. Because he's a star architect and the property itself is really speaking for itself.
And it's on one of our favorite beaches. I'm actually unsure I should be saying that because it's already getting quite full, the beaches there. But that bay, it's called Playa de los Alemanes, which is the beach of the Germans, frankly speaking. Don't really know why. It's one of the nicest bays and that location is just dream-like.
Yeah, the views are spectacular and you can really just sit there and enjoy from the morning till the evening, just the sun kind of dipping into the sea. It is
that's actually what I did. So when Patrick was doing the B-roll, I sat on one of these lounge chairs and I was just tanking in that spectacular panoramic view and the sun that was setting, and I felt at peace. It's not overwhelming, it's simple, it's clean, it has, you know, the architectural aspects which also allow you to be comfortable. What I mean is that you're on the beach, so obviously you need to factor in natural elements into the architecture, which it does. One of them being the back patio, you remember it?
Yeah.
Which is hidden from the sun and from the wind, which is a great spot for afternoon coffee or tea or some, you know, sangria, the Spanish wine.
But even, I mean, you're right. The back is interesting, but nothing can beat the front, because with the infinity swimming pool, I would never want to skip even a second losing that view.
Yeah, I would say that the property felt warm because of its setting and its environment, because you had these big picture windows and glass sliding windows that opened up to not a sterile and cold environment, but to nature and the beauty of the sea. So no matter where you looked, you had flowers growing, you had trees, you had vegetation. Whenever you were inside, you felt like you were still part of the outside warmth of the environment. So the staging wasn't overwhelming inside. The staging was actually kept relatively simple, but everything around it kind of immersed itself into the interior living space, which created that warmth.
It is a perfect example of an architectural merge between nature and living space.
100%. So property number 3 is a very special one for us, because it was the first time in our life where we actually arrived to a $1 million mansion in a helicopter. And I have to say that was an experience for itself. I will not do it again because I don't like flying in helicopters, but it definitely looked very cool on camera.
Yeah. No, I really got a feeling on how very rich people travel.
Yeah.
You just land with a jet in Malaga, then take a helicopter, and then you see the whole coastline, and it kind of is, it's like the intro into a movie.
Correct.
It sets the mood for your whole time visiting Marbella, and just getting to the property already from above. It's a monstrum of a house.
Yeah.
It really stands out. It's also on top of the whole urbanization.
It's like the king of the castle.
Yeah,
King
100%.
of the castle.
It's on the top.
Yeah.
But we're also very lucky that the owner of the property, he was open for ideas, and he was like, guys, you
want to parachute down to the house? Do it.
Yeah, we have to just. I want to be, and this is another thing we are sometimes missing a little bit, is that that people are ready to go a step further when it comes to marketing, to kind of come up with ideas which are extraordinary. And this gentleman in particular was like, helicopter, done. Let's do this. I like this.
So Diego Tobal is actually the architect behind this property, and he likes to work with concrete slabs and cantilevers, which sometimes looks a little bit too brutalism. There's actually an architectural style like that. So he brought in a lot of vegetation to make it look like the vegetation is overgrowing the concrete, which was pretty awesome. The biggest wow moment for me in that house was the private cinema, because usually a private cinema is just a room that was left over, and they put some padding on the wall and put a 60-inch flat screen on the wall and called it a cinema room. But this one was literally like a cinema room that you would imagine in a cinema when you go out with your friends to watch the newest release of Mission Impossible. There were like steps going down. The screen was the biggest private screen I've ever seen. You had these cushioned, massive sofa chairs.
Yeah, nothing was spared there.
It was insane.
They went all the way. And again, I really appreciate when they do that. The worst you can experience when we do the property tours is that we open one of these rooms, which, like my brother just said, was left over, empty. You open it and there's nothing. And you're like, guys, just go for it, Your favorite room was the cinema room. Now I will go a little bit off topic here maybe for some people. It was the machinery room. The machinery room is just impeccable. Everything's up to the highest standard already there. So if the heart is good, how can the rest of the house not be healthy? So you walk in there and it was just, for me, I'm a technical guy. It was beautiful.
Yeah, but
all the pipes in different colors.
Maybe also give the context to the audience that machine room is not something that you might be thinking of. We opened the door and it was about 100 square meters on 2 different levels. You had stairs going down, right? It was
huge.
Massive.
Compared to the house, it was what it was supposed to be.
Even compared to the house, it was maybe a tit too big.
And
you could hardly live there. I see Patrick putting a bunk bed there and just walking and checking we were in that machine room for a good hour, because Patrick was like, so what does this do? What if I press this button? What does this one connect to? How's the water heating system? Is it a pump? Is it not? Is it heated through water for gas? We spent an hour there, and I was just like,
But you could tell that the owner understood me.
Yeah.
He understood me because he knew that I understand what it means to have a place like this in the house.
So the next listing is very dear to us because it's a chalet, super nice one, right on the piste in Courchevel, France, the French Alps. And because Patrick and I were avid skiers, we loved that chalet because we truly got the entire experience. We skied, then we skied to the property, and then we enjoyed the jacuzzi. We had a private butler, we had a chef, we were treated like
Kings.
It was insane. So it was
Kings and queens.
Yeah, fantastic property. Firstly, the architecture from the outside was traditional, mixed in with a little bit of modern, but what I truly loved was the interior because it wasn't a typical fat old wooden beams. It had these polished, newer looking beams. The entire chalet from the inside had a fresh and modern approach, and it used a stunning color palette throughout, which just gave it warmth and brightness.
But it didn't give too much, it didn't feel too heavy.
Yeah, exactly. Like some of the chalets we shot, which are very traditional, very dark and heavy. This one was kind of more upbeat, and that's why I truly love that chalet.
I agree, and I really like this this type of chalet, just for how they have managed to keep the exterior, which is still gives the feeling of traditional. It has a little bit more darker wood, but then the interior is fresher, a little bit more modern.
And actually in this one was really cool. We got to stay for 2 nights. It was the last chalet in our tour because we always do chalets with Consensio, who are in charge of renting out the most luxurious, fully catered chalets in the French Alps. And in this one we got to stay for 2 days, so we got the full experience. I slept on a king's bed, loved the duvets. They were really fluffy and big, and the chef cooked us dinner. We had a few selections of wine to choose from. We jumped in the jacuzzi, we went skiing. An experience that would have cost us every penny of our year's salary, but would have been totally worth it if we had to pay.
And we also were very lucky with the weather. It was snowing. So we got a full package.
Oh yeah.
You know, again, thank you also to Consensio who made it possible, because from a whole day of skiing hard, maybe even got a little bit cold, you go, you undress, and you go straight into your own spa, where you have the swimming pool, you have the sauna, you have the whirlpool. So you can do that rotation and just wait till your muscles are like putty, nice and soft.
Yeah, and then lie in one of the most comfortable beds. Slightly open the window so you get the fresh alpine cold air in, and sleep like a baby and be reborn on the next day.
Yeah. And meanwhile, you have the service.
Yeah, they take care of everything.
They bring you nice hot chocolate whilst you're just relaxing there.
I kind of feel like a holiday now.
All right, now we go to our 5th property, which is in Sotogrande. We have seen this house actually develop over a few years. We met the first owner and then got contacted by the second owner. And I have to say that the changes he actually made in this property were exactly the right changes we have foreseen for that property already to happen in the future, because they really made it outstanding. Don't you agree, Dominic?
100% agreed, and we always get very scared when there is a refurb or a complete change of interior design, because we think someone's just going to screw it up. But as you said, it was just pitch perfect for the house, for the location, for the entire class that Sotogrande has.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the property itself, because it is on 3 levels.
Yes.
Which is really cool, because when you look at the garden area, you have a flat garden area, which is nice because you are more in the hillside.
Where you mean the first?
Yeah, the first and then the second one with the swimming pool is. So it's a bit of an unusual distribution on that hill because of the topology of the hill. They made it fairly awesome with the flat gardens and the segmentation.
And when you come in, it becomes a little bit more modern, but just a tiny touch. And you look forward and you don't see the levels. So you look outwards and you have just the valley in front of you, you have the golf course, and you don't even know that there's a swimming pool down, like a lounge area, that you have an indoor swimming pool, and then even lower that you still have a guest apartment plus paddle court, which is all hidden, because the second you come in, you just see the garden.
It's very nice that you mentioned that, because you're completely right, but it didn't come into my head.
And the kitchen area, for example, one of my personal favorite kitchens, because you could basically spend all the time there.
Yeah, because the kitchen had like its kitchen island, the TV room,
dining area,
and vaulted ceiling.
And then outside you had the pond. You have the pond outside, and the great logistics behind this setup for me personally is that you come in through the garage. You have a little drive-in section which is also covered. You have the garage, which was very nice and big, at least for 3 or 4 cars. You know, bikes. You can really stuff in a lot of things there. So this in particular, we went there. It was beginning of summer. We walked in. The air, because there's so much greenery and nature around. The sap, which is just such a nice, fresh and full air, and then just the sun, the breeze which is going through the house, and then everything else. It's just you just get mesmerized. Sometimes, I mean, it really happens. You go into a house, you just absolutely feel nothing.
I have to laugh because on that shoot I was actually sick, so my nose was stuffed, so I didn't smell anything. But yeah,
be assured, it was smelling beautiful.
Yeah, we show the visuals, we show the layout, we talk about, you know, architecture, interior design, about certain elements, but like you said, to then come and experience it for yourself with all your senses is something we have the pleasure of doing.
No, there's something we have to listen to when we enter a house, which is more than just our senses. Yeah. It's something, I believe, I mean, I'm that type of person, and I'm pretty sure Dominic as well. Something a little bit more spiritual. There's something...
Oh, it's an energy.
Yeah, it's an energy.
Yeah, and you either tap into it and you feel coherent, or you don't, if it's vibing with you. We are the Maro Brothers, and we wanted to thank Estate Media for allowing us to tell our stories behind the listings.